Next up is a talk that you might be waiting for.
Yes, introducing someone who seeks the sense and impact of common waste found in almost every household in Indonesia. He seeks changes and awareness to the growing problem, which is organic waste.
Yes, Colin. He is the leader of Zero Organic Waste Project with the topic of food for thought, organic waste as nature's blessing and curse. Let's give a big round of applause for Nathanael Febrianli.
I want to tell you guys a little something about our food industry. You see, it takes a lot of power, a lot of natural resources to produce food. Meanwhile, have you guys ever wondered how much water, chemicals, and time it takes to grow crops? And another thing is, have you guys ever wondered how much emissions this process produces? Well, the numbers is in the billions. Astounding numbers, indeed. This got me thinking, this industry is very massive, extensive, advanced. Producing food has never become as efficient, as affordable, and as plentiful as ever before. So much so that I think people nowadays find it more convenient to buy more food than they could ever realistically consume. And that usually results in this situation. This got me thinking, how did we get here? Are we humans naturally this greedy? Is this something that evolution gifted us? I did some digging and, well, it turns out that during prehistoric times, times where we still had to hunt for food, our natural tendency was to hoard as much food as possible. Makes sense? Because at that time, food abundance was still low. You had to survive with food. But then came along modern times. Food has become more abundant and we don't need to hoard as much food as possible nowadays, but yet, we still do to an extent. And even I still do that. I admit that. It surely isn't hard to get your eyes and your wallet immediately hooked up to that discount at the supermarket. So, I believe that I'm not the only one suffering from this problem. So, let me ask you all then. How many of you like to revise your shopping list? Any of you? Any of you? Thank you very much. You can lower your hands. So, it turns out that as a result of the individual actions of you, all of you here, 30% of all food go to waste. Your individual actions have and will continue to have a profound impact towards our environment and our planet as a whole. So let's just start with our own homes. At an individual level, all that trash that has been continuously accumulated, because, admit it, we all are too lazy to take out the trash sometimes. All of that accumulation will eventually start to produce a serious stink. Now, this thing is as a result of decomposition, which produces stinky chemical compounds. And the thing about these compounds is that you don't need plenty of them to stink up the entire house. Imagine this. It takes just one small can of trash to stink up the entire house. Imagine what one pile of trash could do. Well, you wouldn't have to be looking too far because unfortunately, this is still reality. Piles upon piles of trash outside homes in less developed and rural villages You can literally smell the stink upon entering its borders. And that's not all. This stink attracts insects, which carry the significant risk of spreading insect-bound diseases. And in addition to that, the decomposition of trash produces more than just stinky chemical compounds. They also produce greenhouse gases, a term I'm pretty sure all of you here are already very familiar with. Oh, and the numbers we're producing? Well, it's in the gigatons. Astounding numbers indeed, and yet we barely put any attention, any effort into this problem. I am sure all of you here have, or at least had, a vision of our country becoming the next country, developed country, successful in tackling climate change and progressing social welfare. Who doesn't want that? So, you might be thinking, how do we do so? A vision without a plan would get you nowhere, right? Well, I think that we need to reduce emissions from the food industry. Why, you might ask? Well, consider this. A majority of our national trash accumulation comes from households. Oh, and all those trash accumulated, it's mostly organic waste. So what does this mean for all of us here? Well, it means that while we are the biggest contributor to this problem, we are also the biggest potential for change. Okay, so what's the solution to this? We already have a plan and the potential problem. Well, I've heard people say that we need to develop sustainable products. We need vegan products. I mean, it might have some truth to that, but do we really need change that's this radical? I believe that radical change is not the only solution for change. Well, I'm pretty sure we've all heard about the 3 Rs: reduce, reuse, recycle. Solid concepts for almost a century by now, and yet, do we ever implement this in our daily lives? Well, let's find out. How many of you here actually plan ahead before shopping or cooking a meal? How many of you actually use parts of veggies, such as the roots or the stems, parts that would otherwise be thrown away? How many of you actually compost your waste? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think none of you do. Well, I believe that this is a good time for me to introduce my program, Zero Organic Waste. Hello, ladies and gents. My name is Nathan. Here, we aim to educate people on how they can repurpose that unproductive waste into something of far higher value. Take this, for example, a recent event we did called the Zero Organic Waste Workshop. We educated people on how they can repurpose basic household trash, organic trash that is, into a compost-like product, bio-compound. With this, you can use it to fertilize your plants, while simultaneously make you take out the trash less often. It's a win-win. If we can get more and more people into committing to this mindset of consuming their waste, I am positive society and households in the future will become cleaner, healthier, and more productive. One less trash bag at a time. So, if there's something I would like to tell you all, well, we humans put a lot of effort into producing food. And yet, we barely utilize it 100%. or even 90%. So I would like you all to remember that please be mindful of the food that you buy and consume. Because remember, greediness should have been a thing of the past. And just like to the key to success in life, utilize everything up to its fullest potential. That's all from me. Thank you very much. My name is Nathan. Good morning.